Week 14 Sunday football in the books. We're going to recap it and talk about what happened and does it affect the Miami Dolphins. What is up, football fans? A very crazy week 14 just wrapped Sunday. We still got 2 games tomorrow, but so far, week 14, pretty nuts. We're going to go through each game. We're going to look at it. Then at the end, I'm going to talk about a little my Miami Dolphins and where they stand when it comes to all that stuff. But before we jump into that, I do have to shout out today's sponsor, and that is BetUS. Be sure to check out BetUS, a fantastic betting site. Forbes has ranked them high. A ton of different people have ranked them high. They have different prop bets. They have different sports that they cover, from the NFL all the way to MMA, all the way to golf, to horse racing. Really fast payouts. 24 hours. 24 hours. They have giveaways, Super Bowl tickets, trucks, all that good stuff. You click the link in the description. You get 125% of your first deposit up to $100 matched. So go check them out. Click the link in the description. BetUS. And again, thank you guys so much for sponsoring this video. Now, I'm going to minimize myself, and we are going to look at some of these games. Now, this game just ended, so why not just jump into it and look at this one? The Dallas Cowboys beat the Philadelphia Eagles 33-13. Now, Philly has now lost to the 49ers bad and the Dallas Cowboys bad. And they lost by 20 points. Now, Jalen Hurts, 18 for 27, 197 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and 88 passer rating. DeAndre Swift, 11 carries, 39 yards. Jalen Hurts, 5 carries, 30 yards. Kenneth Gainwell, 4 carries, 28 yards. Receiving, A.J. Brown, 9 for 94. Devontae Smith, 5 for 73. Dallas Goedert, 4 for 30. Fumbles. Look at all those fumbles. Jalen Hurts lost a fumble. A.J. Brown lost a fumble. Devontae Smith lost a fumble. Jeez. Ton of fumbles. And on the defensive side, 3 sacks. 2 for Hassan Reddick and 1 for Fletcher Cox. Any interceptions? No interceptions by Philly. And then on the flip side, Dak Prescott, one of the candidates for MVP, 24 for 39, 271 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 99.4 passer rating. Tony Pollard, 16 carries, 59 yards. Rico Dowdle, I probably butchered his name, 12 carries, 46 yards, and a touchdown. Jake Ferguson, 5 catches, 72 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 6 for 71 and a touchdown. Michael Gallup, 3 catches, 48 and a touchdown. Dak Prescott lost a fumble. Outside of that, Malik Hooker got one of the fumbles. Donovan Wilson and Damian Clark recovered the other fumbles. When it came to sacks, only 1 sack. Parsons with the sack there. Outside of that, no interceptions either. But Philly, you went into KC, you beat them. Your head coach screamed in the the walkway, the whatever you want to call it. My brain's not working right now. Then you go and beat Buffalo in a game of the week, and then you lay 2 eggs. And we'll look at it at the end to see what the standings are. But right now, Philly's 5, the 5th seed, and the Dallas Cowboys are the number 1 seed, which is crazy. Next game we will look at is the Buccaneers beating the Falcons. I think this makes the Buccaneers the leader of that division. Baker Mayfield, 14 for 29, 144, 2 touchdowns, 86 passer rating. Rashad White, 25 carries, 102 yards. Wow. Chase Edmonds, 8 carries for 40 yards. Who had the touch? Baker Mayfield had the touchdown, 3 carries, 3 yards. Chris Godwin, 5 catches for 53. Rashad White, 2 catches for 33 and a touchdown. Chase Edmonds, 2 catches, 18. Mike Evans only had 1 catch for 8 yards. And Otten had the other touchdown. Fumbles, no lost. And then defensive, 3 sacks. One by Winfield, one by Cansey, and one by Gaines. An interception by Davis. Then you look at Atlanta. 26 for 48, 347 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, the 90.3 passer rating. You had Algier, 9 carries, 40 yards. Bijan Robinson, 10 carries for 34 and a touchdown. Desmond Ridder had 4 carries for 15 and a touchdown. London with 172 yards. Wow. Kyle Pitts got himself a touchdown, 3 catches for 52 yards. Desmond Ridder had 2 fumbles. None of them were lost. Pruitt had 1 fumble. D. Ford and Keith Smith had a reception. He scooped up a fumble, and when it came to sacks, only 1 sack, and that's from Street. But this division, Tampa right now is the leader because they have the tiebreaker. But look at that, 6-7, you can't really see, my head's on the way. 6-7, 6-7, 6-7, and then Carolina's 1-2. This division is hot garbage. Like, holy guacamole. This game, Detroit losing to the Chicago Bears. Holy guac. Jared Goff, 20 for 35, 161 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Are the Detroit Lions going to have another end-of-the-year collapse? 54.6 passer rating. Gibbs, 11 carries for 66 yards and a touchdown. David Montgomery, 10 carries for 66 yards, no touchdown. You had Reynolds, 44 yards on 3 receptions. Laporta, 23 yards on 2 catches. Amon St. Brown, 21 yards off of 3 catches. You had 2 fumbles, 1 lost. How many sacks? 3 sacks. Komsky, Hutchinson, and Mabin with the sacks. And then the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields, 19 for 33, 223 yards, 1 touchdown. He had an 88.3 passer rating. Justin Fields, 12 carries for 58 yards. Justin Fields, jeez. Dante Freeman, 11 carries for 50 yards. DJ Moore, 3 carries for 20 yards by end around. But you had Justin Fields and Moore with the rushing touchdowns. DJ Moore also, so not only did he have a rushing touchdown and end around, he had a receiving touchdown, 6 catches for 68 yards. Cole Kmet, 5 for 66. How many sacks? 4 sacks. Wow. Sweat with the sack. Just came over from Washington a few weeks ago. Justin Jones, I almost said Julio Jones, with a sack and a half. Ngaku with a sack. And Dexter Sr. with a half a sack. Wow. There's the 2 interceptions. Treman Edmonds. Buffalo's probably missing him. Jalen Johnson. I can't believe and it's funny too because I kind of can, because when Chicago played Detroit in Detroit, it was a close game, and I kind of even said I'll take the over. I'll take Chicago in the over on this one because I thought it was going to be a close game. I really didn't think Chicago was going to win this game, and now you're kind of sitting back and looking at Detroit like, what are you doing? Because you look at that division too. It's Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay, and Chicago. Chicago's 1 game behind Green Bay. They have to take their last bye. Then Green Bay's 1 behind Minnesota. If Detroit's not lucky, someone might sneak up on them. Wow. Did not see that one coming. And then we have the Bengals taking on the Colts, a 34-14 victory for Cincinnati. Gardner Minshew, who was red hot last week, 26 for 39, 240 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 81.1 passer rating. You had Zach Moss, 13 carries, 28 yards. Michael Pittman, 8 catches, 95 yards. Your touchdown is from Mo Alley-Cox, 1 catch, 2 yards for the touchdown. Isaiah McKenzie with the fumble. 0 sacks for their defense. And then you look at the Cincinnati Bengals. Jake Browning, I think he got banged up, and then A.J. McCarron came in, and he didn't do much. And then Jake Browning came back in, 18 for 24, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. He had a 122.7 passer rating. Joe Mixon, 21 carries for 79 yards and a touchdown. Jake Browning also had a touchdown, 3 carries, 7 yards. Chase Brown, 3 catches, 80 yards and a touchdown. And Tanner Hudson, 2 catches, 21 yards and a touchdown. Jamar Chase only had 3 catches for 29 yards, 3 sacks, half from Pratt, 2 from Hendrickson, and then another half from Sample. Wow. It's like an up and down. And this is what is going to hurt Buffalo, because Buffalo, and we'll get to that, is now 7-6 as well. But there are so many teams ahead of them that they need things to fall their way. And it's going to get real interesting. But this game, I thought it'd be closer. I thought the Colts were on a little bit of a tear. This one I kind of saw coming. This game here, 31-27, Cleveland beating the Jaguars. I saw this coming, especially with Joe Flacco, who's red hot lately. Trevor Lawrence actually played the game, but Trevor Lawrence looked bad. 28 for 50, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, fantastic, but 3 interceptions. 65.2 pass rating. And that's the one thing I said is, in my opinion, if Trevor Lawrence didn't play, I really went with Cleveland, because I really like Cleveland's defense. But 3 interceptions. Travis Etienne, 14 carries, 35 yards, and 1 touchdown. Outside of that, again, Cleveland has a good defense. Evan Ingram, their tight end, 11 catches, 95 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Parker Washington, 2 catches, 27, and a touchdown. Fumbles, you had Parker Washington with a fumble. How many sacks did they give up? 1? They only had 1 sack from Antonio Johnson. And you look at Cleveland, 26 for 45, 311 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a 92 pass rating from Joe Flacco. Playing so much better than Deshaun Watson did. Jerome Ford, 12 carries, 51 yards. Kareem Hunt, 10 carries, 27 yards, and that touchdown. Craziness there. And Njoku was on fire. 6 catches, 91 yards, and 2 touchdowns. David Bell with the other touchdown. 1 catch for 41 yards and a touchdown. Joe Flacco had a fumble loss. Amari Cooper had a fumble loss. Good thing I put him on my bench. And they had 4 sacks. Again, their defense. Delbert with the sack. Hurst with the sack. I'm going to butcher his name. Okoronkwo with the sack. And Smith. Zadarius Smith with the sack. And also you had 2 interceptions from Emerson. He must have loved to throw to Emerson, and Newsome with an interception. I saw them winning, Cleveland, but I didn't think it would be with Trevor Lawrence playing, which is crazy. Again, when we get to the standing, you're going to see how crazy this AFC is. Next, we have the Panthers and the Saints, which we kind of all saw coming, but I'll review it really quickly. Bryce Young, 13 for 36, 137. He didn't do good. The team really didn't do good. Hubbard, 23 carries, 87 yards. Your leading receivers, Adam Thielen, 5 catches, 72 yards. Tons of fumbles. Hecker, fumble. Bryce Young, fumbled. Adam Thielen, fumbled, but they got it back. Lavu with the sack. And then he had the Saints. And even Derek Carr threw an interception. He didn't do too great. 18 for 26, 119, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 88.5 passer rating. Alvin Kamara, 12 carries, 56 yards, and a touchdown. Your 2 touchdown receivers were Chris Olave, 4 catches, 28 yards, and a touchdown. And then Jimmy Graham, 2 catches, 16 yards, and a touchdown. I still forgot that Jimmy Graham was back on the Saints. 4 sacks, 1 from Howden, 1.5 from Davis, half from Shepard, and a half from Granderson. The Panthers are probably going to end the season with like 2 wins. They might sneak up on someone with the last couple games of the season. But Cleveland got a steal getting that first overall pick. Chicago can just keep winning and just watch Cleveland just fall apart. This is a game that Jet fans, there you go, guys. And beating the Houston Texans isn't one like, oh, we beat the Panthers or, oh, we beat this team. Houston's a pretty good team. C.J. Stroud, 10 for 23, 91 yards, 54.8 passer rating. He went up against a good defense in the Jets. Singletary, 13 carries, 65 yards, and a touchdown. They couldn't score. They scored 1 touchdown, couldn't kick the extra point. They didn't do much. Jordan, 3 catches, 35 yards. Beck, 1 catch, 26 yards. Nico Collins left with an injury. You had some fumbles, but they got the ball back. 4 sacks, 2 from Greenard, Collins, and Rankins with the sack outside of that. And then you got Zach Wilson. 27 for 36, 301 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 117.9 passer rating. Good for you. Breece Hall, 10 carries, 40 yards. Gibson, there was the end around, 1 carry for 9 yards and a touchdown. Garrett Wilson, 9 catches, 110 yards. Breece Hall, 8 catches, 86 yards and a touchdown. Randall Cobb, 1 catch for 15 yards and a touchdown. Zach Wilson lost the fumble. They had 5 sacks. Quinnen Williams with a sack. Solomon Thomas with a sack. Bryce Huff with a sack. Apparently team. It just says team. The team got a sack. Will McDonald had a farm with a sack. Good for the Jets, man. That's all I can really, good for you guys. You guys have a very good defense. And if you look for the first half, it was 0-0. And then your offense woke up in the second half. Good for you guys. That's all I can say. No hate, nothing. Good for you guys. You got your win. You did your thing. I didn't even mean to rhyme there. Good for you guys. Next, we have, this was a good game. And this game went to overtime. And I was not expecting that. I was expecting Baltimore to flat out beat the Rams. But they had a hard time with the Rams. Matthew Stafford, 23 for 41, 294, and 3 touchdowns, 103.1 passer rating. You had running game of Kieran Williams, 25 carries, 114 yards. Cooper Kupp, 8 catches, 115 yards and a touchdown. Davis Allen, 4 catches, 50 yards and a touchdown. Demarcus Robinson, 3 catches, 46 yards and a touchdown. You had Trammell with 2 fumbles, but they got him back. 2 sacks, 1 from Ernest Jones, 1 from Byron Young. 1 interception for 17 yards from Witherspoon. And you had the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, 24 for 43, 316, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 92.8 passer rating. Lamar Jackson was your leading rusher, 11 carries for 70 yards with Mitchell behind him, 9 for 54. Odell Beckham was your leading receiver, 4 catches, 97 yards and a touchdown. Likely, 5 catches, 83 yards and a touchdown. Zay Flowers, 6 catches, 60 yards and a touchdown. You had Linderbaum with 1 fumble that they got back. And they had 2 sacks. 1 from Justin Matabuki. I probably butchered that name. And then 1 from Travis Jones. I did not expect this game to go into overtime. And it just shows that, like, any given Sunday, but it also shows that, you catch a team at the right time, you can possibly come away with a win. And the Rams were very close to coming away with a win. Because at one point I'm like, Baltimore's going to, take this one over. And it kept happening where Baltimore would score a touchdown. I'm like, oh, there it is. The defense, Baltimore's got a good defense. You can stop them. And then they would tie it. And it was just a back and forth. It was a really good game. And then it was a punt return for a touchdown. That's how Baltimore won it. Really good game. Really, really good game. This game, we're talking about really good game and then just hot trash of a game. Vikings win 3-0. You look at this box score right here. It wasn't until the last second field goal. It was 0-0 for most of the game. The last time a game was won 3-0 was when the Dolphins played the Steelers on Monday Night Football in that rain muddy mess in Pittsburgh, where the Dolphins punted the ball and it stuck in the ground. That was the last time there was a 3-0 win. Look at the 2 quarterbacks here. 2 quarterbacks played. Nick Mullins, 19 for 30, 13, 83 yards. 10 for 23 for Josh Dobbs, 63 yards. Garbage. Matheson, 10 carries, 66 yards. Ty Chandler, 12 carries, 35. Justin Jefferson played. 2 catches for 27 yards. TJ Hawkinson, 5 for 53. 4 sacks from Pace Jr., Wonnum, Phillips, and Dye with your 4 sacks. And you had an interception from Ivan Pace Jr. And then you look at the flip side. Aiden O'Connell, 21 for 32, 171, 1 interception. Josh Jacobs, 13 carries, 34 yards. The Vikings have a good defense. Brian Flores is their defense coordinator. He's a very good defensive coordinator. So the Raiders were struggling 7 catches for 53 yards from Devontae Adams. Hunter Renfrow, 3 for 46. Jacoby Myers, 5 for 25. Ton of fumbles. Greg Van Roten with a fumble loss. Hunter Renfrow with a fumble loss. And they had 5 sacks. Max Crosby's just a nightmare. Robert Spillane with a sack. Tyree Wilson with a sack. And Robinson with a sack. But this game was just, I felt bad for you guys watching this game. But Vikings are 7-6. NFC. But there's a lot of 7-6 teams. And we'll talk about that. But that game, woof. This game was closer than I thought it would be, and I told you guys. I forgot what the over-under was. Was it 10? It might have been more than 10. I forgot what the over-under was for this game, but I told you guys to take Seattle with the points, and I think you would have won because they won, but they lost by 12. You might have won if you took them. I don't remember what the over-under was. Comment below what the over-under was. Drew Lock played because Geno Smith didn't. 22 for 31, 269 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. 92 passer rating. Charbonnet, 9 carries, 44 yards. Tyler Lockett, 6 for 89. DK, 2 for 52 and a touchdown. Colby Parkinson, 2 for 28 and a touchdown. How many sacks? 3 sacks. Jones with a sack, Leonard Williams with a sack, and Jaron Reed with a sack, and you had Julian Love with an interception. And then on the flippity flop on the flim flam, Brock Purdy, 19 for 27, 368 yards. Jeez, that man threw so much today. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 122 passer rating. Christian McCaffrey, 16 carries for 145 yards. Jordan Mason with the touchdown, and Debo with the touchdown rushing. Debo Samuels, 7 catches for 149 yards. Brandon Ayuk, 6 catches for 126. Greg Little, 3 catches for 76. How many sacks did they get? They got 4 sacks. 1.5 from Nick Bosa. Farrell got 1. Kinlaw got a half. And Randy Gregory. It's like all the ship-offs. Randy Gregory and Farrell with their sacks. Hilarious to me. And then the interceptions from Brown and Warner, Fred Warner. I mean, it's a monster. But you look at this. And let's look at the 527 yards to 324 yards. 2 turnovers each and more to, like, the time of possession's like almost right down the middle. But the yard difference, and they only lost by 12, is crazy to me. Like I said, I don't remember what the over-under was, but I did tell you guys to take the points. So if the over-under, if the 49ers were given like 13, you would have won. Nuts. Absolutely nuts to me how close that game was. Then we have, this was a good game, and it ended with Kadarius Toney selling on his team. Josh Allen, 23 for 42, 233 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, a 68.8 passer rating. James Cook, 10 carries for 58 yards. Josh Allen, 10 carries, 32, and the touchdown. James Cook, 5 receptions, 83. Your running back was your leading receiver for a touchdown. Dawson Knox, 3 catches, 36 yards. Hardy, 1 catch for 25. Latavius Murray with the fumble. I'll get to that in a second. Only 1 sack. It's a half from Ed Oliver and a half from Greg Rousseau. And AJ Epinesa. Gotta get that out. With the 1 interception, it was a tip pass. Then you look on the other side. Patrick Mahomes, 24 for 43, 271 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, a 74.9 passer rating. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 11 carries, 39 yards. Jerick McKinnon, 4 carries, 19, and the touchdown. Travis Kelce, 6 for 83. Rashee Rice, 7 for 72, and a touchdown. Rashee Rice had a fumble, and he lost it. Horrible play. Trent McDuffie with a sack. I'm going to butcher his name. Omenihi? Amanu? I'm sorry. Sack. Karlaftis? I think I said that right, with the sack. And Connor with the intercept. That interception from Josh Allen was just hot garbage. But this game, you had Kadarius Toney, who was blatantly offsides, but a lot of times when the receivers are like lined up, they look over, and you think they're looking over at the head coach, but they're looking over at the ref like, am I good? And the ref sometimes will tell him to back up, or they'll tell, but no one told him, and his foot is just so over the line of scrimmage. So and it's the play where Patrick Mahomes throws a pass to Travis Kelce, who then throws it back to Rice, who runs in for the touchdown, who would have, the game would have been 24-20 with like a minute something left, and it's offsides. And then they called like the worst next couple plays, and the game ended. And Patrick Mahomes was just so mad and so whiny about the fact that they called it offsides. He was offsides, regardless if the ref didn't tell him to back up or not. That's not the ref's job. The man was offsides. And then Josh Allen with the most ridiculous pass while almost getting sacked, like pushed out of bounds. They called it a fumble reception or fumble out of bounds. I don't think that was a catch. I'm just saying that, which ended up being a field goal. So the game was very wish-washy, but Chiefs lose, Bills win, but Bills have an uphill battle. We'll talk about that in a second when we look at the division. And then last game we're going to talk about is the Denver Broncos beating up on the Chargers. Russell Wilson, 21 for 33, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, interception, 91 passer rating. Javonte Williams, 17 carries, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Last time Javonte Williams had a touchdown rush was when Vic Fangio was their head coach. Cortland Sutton, again, doing his thing, 3 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown. Trotman was the other guy, 2 catches, 19 yards, and a touchdown. They got a touchdown. Josie Jewell with a fumble recovery. How many? 6 sacks. Holy guacamole. Alex Singleton with a sack. Josie Jewell with a sack. PJ Locke with a sack. Justin Simmons with a sack. Jaquan McMillan with a sack. Zach Allen with a sack. 6 sacks. And then Jonathan Cooper with an interception. Holy crap. You had 3 quarterbacks. 2 quarterbacks. Keenan Allen probably tried some trickery. Justin Herbert left the game. He hurt his hand. He's probably going to be done for the season because there's no point anymore in them trying. 9 for 17, 96 yards and an interception. He didn't play well. Easton Stick came in 13 for 24, 179, 78.3 passer rating. Austin Eckler, 10 carries, 51 yards and a touchdown. Quentin Johnson, 3 catches, 91 yards. Keenan Allen, 6 for 68. Easton Stick, 2 fumbles, 1 lost. They had 2 sacks. Kenneth Murray Jr. and Eric Kendricks. The Chargers. I don't know how Staley survives this season. If Staley survives this season, he has some type of blackmail on this owner. But Denver's still in it. And Denver beat Buffalo. So, with that being said, we're going to look at the standings. Mostly the playoff standings. Now, the Miami Dolphins right now are sitting in the 2nd seed because they have to play tomorrow night. You have the Baltimore Ravens, number 1 seed. Kansas City is the number 3 seed. Jacksonville's number 4 seed. 5 is Cleveland. Pittsburgh is 6. And the Indianapolis Colts are 7. Now, when you look at it, you have the Buffalo Bills down here at 11. I told you guys I would talk about Buffalo. They have some teams ahead of them that beat them, like the Denver Broncos and the Cincinnati Bengals. Wins tiebreaker over Buffalo based on head-to-head win percentage. Then they have the tiebreaker. Wins tiebreaker for Cincinnati based on best win percentage in conference, and wins tiebreaker over Buffalo with head-to-head. Wins tiebreaker over Buffalo, Cincinnati, and Denver based on win percentage in conference games. So these guys all have win percentages over Buffalo. So the Buffalo Bills need 4 teams to start to lose. But that hasn't happened as Cincinnati won 2 games so far. The Denver Broncos went on a tear. Houston started to win a little bit, but they kind of lost to the Jets today. And Indy lost. So those 2 teams losing help Buffalo, but again, they're sitting 4 games behind. And like I said, the Miami Dolphins right here sitting in the 2nd seed, but if they win tomorrow night against the Houston Titans. The Tennessee Titans, they go back up to the number 1 seed, and then you look at the NFC. You got I misspoken before saying Dallas would be number 1. If you got San Fran at number 1, you got Dallas at number 2, Detroit at number 3. Tampa now at number 4. Philly dropped down to 5. Philly was number 2. And then Minnesota at 6. And Green Bay still sitting there at 7. Green Bay pays tomorrow night as well against the Giants. They can go to 7-6. Now, I don't think they can leapfrog in front of the Vikings, but they'll be 7-6, so they have a game lead on all of these other teams. If the Green Bay Packers keep winning, they have a chance. They're only 2 games, possibly 2 games out of first place. They have a chance. But that is the recap for this week's games. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I am going to do a video tomorrow looking at the playoffs, how the playoffs have changed for the Miami Dolphins. Let me know if you want me to do it tomorrow morning or if you want me to do it after the Dolphins play Monday night. You comment below. You let me know when. But I'll be live tomorrow, 8 o'clock, for the Dolphins taking on the Titans. Other than that, like usual, stay classy. Fins up.